What's up, you guys? I'm Steve, and welcome to the Steve Ram Finance channel. And this is the first ever video on this channel, so I'm gonna do my best to make it good. And if you're here, chances are you wanna learn about growing wealth and personal finance. You probably came from my other channel, Steve Ram, where I do economic news updates. And I'm gonna be sharing with you everything that I've learned over the past several years when starting my journey to financial freedom. And I wanna make this first one a good one. I wanna share with you something that is very dear to me, and it's some advice that I received when I first started years ago from a multi-millionaire. Now, just to clarify, I do not come from a wealthy, affluent background. I actually came from a very middle-class, poor kind of family, was not a trust fund baby, and when the Great Recession hit, I lost everything. I mean, I was really broke, living paycheck to paycheck, and those paychecks were unemployment checks. And I said, you know what? I have had enough of this. I really need to change my life. I don't ever want to be in this situation again. So that's when I decided to seek out some professional help. I started seeking out multi-millionaires and asking them, so how do I get rich like you? You're not gonna believe this, but none of them responded to me. But I finally found one that was willing to share with me. And when I asked him, he said,
Steve, I am gonna share with you the secret to financial freedom.
He said, listen, all wealthy people do this. They focus their time and energy on three main things. And if you do these things, you will also become financially free, because this is not an art or something designated for special people. Anybody can do this and they will get the same results. He said, you're not lazy, you're not worthless. The problem is you're missing information, and I'm about to give it to you. And if you do it, you will also become financially free. And I immediately thought to myself, well, that sounds good, because right now I'm broke. Nothing I've done so far has gotten me rich, so I think I'm gonna take his advice. So I listened to what he had to say, did everything he told me to do, and it actually worked. I am now financially free. Now, I wish I could tell you I ran out of there and started right away and it was immediate, but the truth is, the things that he shared with me, I had never heard before. Now, like I said, I don't come from a wealthy background, so this was eye-opening, totally new. He made it sound so simple, yet I knew nothing about these things. So from the time we spoke to the time I actually started, I spent about 2 years teaching myself these things. So hopefully I'll be able to speed up the process of you getting started with this channel. But the entire process, it was 7 years for me to get financially free, 7-year tribulation. And so like I said, hopefully you'll be able to get done with this faster. And it was last year when I hit that 7 years that I decided, you know what, it's time for me to thank him, because it actually worked. So I reached out to him and I let him know, hey, thank you so much. I did everything you told me to do and it worked. Thank you. You helped me become financially free. And he said,
No, thank yourself.
because the truth is, I've actually shared that with a lot of people. He said, and what I've found is that out of 100 or maybe even 1,000 people that I share that with, usually only one person will actually step up and do what I told them to do and set themselves financially free. He said, so thank yourself, and if you really want to pay it forward, consider sharing with others what it is that you now know. And that is exactly what I plan to do in this first video. I'm going to be sharing with you what it was that he shared with me to become financially free, and my hope is you will be blessed by this video. Maybe you'll take it, run with it, and who knows, years from now, you'll reach out to me and say, Steve, I did it, it worked, thank you so much, I am now financially free. And then it will be my turn to say to you, no, thank yourself, because out of the hundreds or thousands of people that saw that video, you were the one that stepped up and you set yourself financially free.
3, 2, 1.
Here we go!
Alright, so if you want to be like the wealthy, one of the first things that you need to do is smash the like button and the subscribe button for the YouTube algorithm. But also now, let's discuss the 3 things that this multimillionaire shared with me and a little bit of background on him and how it is that he managed to figure this out. So these 3 things are simply the vehicles by which wealthy people use to achieve financial freedom. Think of it like this. Let's say you were going to go on a trip from California to Texas. Nobody's doing that right now, right? If you were going to do that, what would be the fastest way to achieve that? Would you want to walk to Texas, drive, or fly? Don't worry, it's not a trick question. The right answer is fly. You would want to fly to get there the fastest. And that's all that is that wealthy people use these vehicles to allow them to fly to financial freedom. Now, this multimillionaire, how did he figure this out? Well, he actually didn't come from a wealthy or affluent background either. Maybe that's why he was willing to help me, because he could relate to my situation. He said he went through the traditional means that most people consider financial success. He went to school, got a degree, and then got a job as an accountant, and realized right away that he was not going to become wealthy doing taxes. But he did do the taxes of wealthy people, and he began to see a pattern in what it was that wealthy people focused on every time he did their taxes. And he saw there were three main things, and he began to realize, maybe if I start focusing on these three things, I too can become wealthy as well. So number one of the first things he realized is that wealthy people invest in real estate. Now right away I said, hold on a second, I don't have a whole bunch of money. I can't go out and start buying houses. And he said, don't worry, neither did I. But when I started studying real estate, I began to realize there's other ways to get started without having a big pile of cash. He said, for example, I started partnering with people who did have a little bit of money. I also started wholesaling, and I did short-term vacation rentals, which today is known as Airbnb. And he said I did that over and over until I had enough money to go buy my own house. And he said, and then I bought more and more until I had hundreds of houses, and then I started buying apartment complexes. And then after apartment complexes, I started buying luxury hotels and just kept expanding into the field of real estate. Now, just to clarify, he said you don't need to become a real estate agent, which is somebody that helps other people buy and sell real estate, but you do need to become a real estate investor or an owner of real estate. And he said, and here's the thing with real estate that's absolutely amazing, is this little thing called leverage, where you can take $1 and you can buy $5 worth of real estate. That's right, with just 20%, you can own 100% of the property. You can collect all of the rental cash flow. You can get all of the tax write-offs, the depreciation, and what we've seen historically is that over time, if you buy a house today, several years down the road, it's going to appreciate, and that house is going to be worth a whole lot more in the future. So he said, one of the things I learned right away is that I needed to start investing in real estate. Now, honestly, he probably could have stopped there because he had me. I mean, he piqued my interest with real estate investing, and today I am a huge real estate enthusiast. I encourage everybody to get involved in investing with real estate, but to be honest, like I said, it took me about 2 years to figure out how to do real estate investing, get the courage to do it, and get enough money to get that first property. But that was the first one that he shared with me. And the second one is also a huge key that wealthy people use. And he said, number 2, wealthy people do stock market investing. And again, he clarified, he said, you don't have to become a day trader and check what's happening all the time with the candlesticks and technical analysis to determine how to buy low and sell high. He said, but wealthy people do buy stocks. And now today, they also buy cryptocurrencies. And he said, but you do need to start regularly investing. And over time, like real estate, stocks, they go up in value. So you buy today, years down the road, chances are they're going to be worth a whole lot more. And also, like real estate, if you like rental cash flow and getting money all the time, well, there's this thing called dividends, and you can buy dividend yielding stocks, which will actually pay you for holding the stocks. So he said, second, wealthy people also invest in the stock market. And he said, and if you don't know where to start, that is okay. There's this thing called ETFs, or exchange traded funds. And those are actually a compilation of a bunch of stocks in one particular sector, say like tech. And so if you buy one stock and it crashes, well, you lose all your money. But if you get an ETF and one stock crashes, you've got a bunch of other ones that help average out and you get the average returns. And like I said, over time with stocks, typically they go up in value as well. So I thought to myself, good stuff. If I focus on real estate investing and stock investing, I'm going to be on the right track towards financial freedom. However, You do not want to miss this last one because this last one is the big one and it could be life-changing. However, it is also very risky, and that is that he said wealthy people focus their time and attention on starting businesses. Now, just to let you know how risky this is, according to the Small Business Administration, back in 2019, 1 out of 5 businesses failed before they hit the 1-year mark. That's right. They launch and then they fail. Now, as time progresses, it actually gets worse too. 5 years, over half of businesses have failed before they hit the 5-year mark. And if you hit the 10-year mark, well, congratulations, because you are 1 out of 3. So business is risky business. So why would anybody want to do such a thing? Well, it is because the upside and the reward could be life-changing for generations. See, when you go get a day job, they're going to give you a set hourly wage or maybe a salary, and it'll go up slightly over time. But if you launch a business and you figure out how to become successful, well, there is no limit to the amount of money that can be produced. It's all based upon and contingent upon the value that you bring to the marketplace and the amount of people that you're able to serve. If you could just serve 1 million people an item that gives you $1 profit, well, you just made $1 million. Now, what if you could do 2 million, 3 million? How many people could you serve? How much value can you bring to the marketplace? And how much profit margin can you get per item? And that is why wealthy people focus their attention, time, and energy on starting businesses. Now, in addition to that, he said being a tax accountant, he said he realized right away that business owners get better tax benefits than people who don't have businesses. And he said, as a matter of fact, the entire tax system is set up to encourage people to launch businesses, do transactions, and do things that will help stimulate our economy and keep things moving. And he said, if you launch a business, well, the taxes, they're going to be on your side. And he said you might not be profitable for the first couple years, but there's going to be tax benefits and incentives that they're going to use to try to help push you and encourage you to success to keep stimulating the economy. So he said you're going to have that on your side in addition to the potential upside of the value that you're going to be bringing to the marketplace. So he said that is why also wealthy, financially free people focus their time on starting businesses. So after gathering all that information, my little mind was just about ready to pop. I left there, and for the next 2 years, all I did was study, read books, listen to podcasts, YouTube videos about real estate, stocks, and business. And finally, after 2 years, I was too scared to start a business, so I actually just got 3 jobs. I had a day job, a part-time job, and a nighttime job, saving up money. And then after 2 years, I bought my first real estate flip. I bought a little condo at the auction, flipped it, made a bunch of money, launched a business on Etsy, also started reselling furniture and Craigslist, and also started regularly buying and investing in the stock market and cryptocurrencies. And now, 7 years later, I am financially free. And you guys, just focused on those 3 vehicles, those 3 investments to help set me financially free. And I believe that if you spend your time studying, focusing on those, if you can do all 3 or even just one of them, you're going to be selecting a vehicle that's going to help you get on the path to financial freedom and even potentially becoming wealthy, rich, like that multimillionaire. And you guys, I hope that this video was helpful. Thank you so much for joining me. This is the first official Steve Ram Finance channel video. I'm looking forward to more. Hopefully it's going to benefit you and bless you. Thank you so much for joining me. Take care. God bless. This is Steve.